Okay, well hello everyone and welcome. My name's Lee, I'm Judy's nephew for those I haven't met yet. It's incredibly humbling to be standing here being the one to welcome you all and to lead the service today as we celebrate Judy's life. As I'm sure you would have experienced in your lifetime, these occasions can be conducted in many different ways, some very formal, some very scripted, some are deeply religious, some are very sombre occasions where the entire audience or participants are dressed in full black attire, large gatherings with hundreds of people in grand venues, or a handful of people. But this is for Judy today, and this is perfect. Her nearest and dearest in a beautiful setting that she would have absolutely loved. So let's celebrate her life the way she would have wanted us to. Let's laugh, let's cry, let's have fun. Feel free to express all emotions today. Let's give each other warm hugs. That's exactly what she would have wanted. So let's celebrate that way. The day Judy passed away, in an instant, I decided I was going to fly over there for the celebration of her life. In a lot of respects, it was a bit of an uncomfortable decision. I'd never been away from the family for more than a day, and this was going to be a considerable time away from the family, no less than the other side of the world. But I had to go. I had to be there with my cousins. I was then asked by my cousin Dave, who is Judy's eldest son, to lead the service in Seattle, and we set about planning for the day. So to give you a sense of what the day was like, for those who haven't been to Seattle, it's a picturesque city. It's built on a sound and a number of lakes. It's surrounded by snow-capped mountain peaks everywhere you look. You saw in the footage where we celebrated, it was in a venue on Lake Washington, in full bloom. We had a little over 40 friends and family there. That room we were in, as I said, overlooked the lake. It was very thoughtfully decorated by Sandy, Judy's daughter. You probably noticed, and there should be a photo in a minute, or may have already been shown, but the centrepiece of what she'd set up there was a table at the front of the room, which had these impeccably preserved artefacts. There was a set of, one set where her original passport, her ticket for the boat trip she took when she left Melbourne in her early 20s to basically leave Australia and explore the world. So her passport was there. Oh, there it is, yeah. Passport was there, a brochure, her ticket, and yes, we also had her nursing certificate and some jewellery. Turns out she was a winner of a beauty pageant as well. You saw the sash there. Miss Electricity was proudly displayed. It was an intimate service. Heartfelt words were spoken by Dave, Ed, Judy's other son, Dave's wife, Nadia, and Nadia's mum. We had a video that was recorded by Mum and Dad that we played. I spoke some words of my own. I spoke on behalf of my brother Jonathan, Rebecca and Emma. Other than Sandra, everyone that was there really knew Aunt Judy from her life and time in America. So I was able to paint a picture of what her life was like in Australia, which people who were there on the day obviously knew about, but didn't know in any great detail. So I felt very privileged to be able to share with everyone there what her time was like in Australia. Even my oldest cousin Dave, there were a lot of things that I spoke about that were things that he wasn't aware of. How close Aunt Judy was to my kids and so forth. So it was an honour to be there to, I guess, represent that part of life that she lived in Australia, and also to represent our family there as well. The service concluded. We shared food, conversation, hugs in the room there. The slideshow that you saw before was playing in the room. After the service, we went back to Dave and Nadia's house. It was just family, and we had a very special afternoon and evening there. The day, as Dave said, my cousin was perfect. We really did her proud. That was the beginning of a week where I caught up with, lost time with my cousins, enjoying the sights of Seattle, to what was a very memorable trip, and a great way to honour Judy's life.
Hello everyone, I'm Barb, for those who don't know me, Judy's sister, who I miss terribly, but I'm glad that we can celebrate her life here today and remember who she was and talk about her life and her talents as a person. I miss her terribly. But that's life, isn't it? It all happens to all of us sooner or later. I just want to tell you a few things about Judy and some of the funny things that she and I got up to together. And we were very close, and it's really hard that she's not here anymore. We started out in Camberwell in Melbourne, Judy and I as babies and small children, and I have a very fond and funny memory of the two of us when I was about 2 and she was about 4, and we wanted to cut our hair. And so I put a bowl on Judy's head and cut all around the bowl, and then she put the bowl on my head and cut all around the bowl. Then my mother came and said, "What have you done?" And it was pretty short hair that we ended up with. But that's one of the things that always makes me laugh when I think about that day. Now, Mum got divorced not too long after that time, and the new mother-in-law-to-be said to Mum, she couldn't handle the fact that Mum had been married and had 2 children, so she insisted that we were sent away. And we were sent to Mansfield in Victoria. Most of you probably know where that is, and to a convent. And we were there for 7 years. There were windows, but no glass in them in the bedroom that I was in. So, you know, in the winter it was really cold. You know what it's like in country Victoria, and no glass in the windows. And in the summer it was pretty hot. It's just one of my memories of the convent. And every morning for 7 years, we all went to Mass. All the children in the convent went to Mass. So we'd all get up and toddle down through the gate to the church, and we'd have Mass every morning for 7 years. And I never became a Catholic because Mum said you're not a Catholic and you can't become one. So, but I wanted to be one. But I'm still not one. Well, I'm a Christian, so that's the important thing. And there was the smell of the incense every morning, you know, the toing and froing of the incense. And at the time I hated that smell, but now I really love it, and I wish I could have it in the house. But it's very hard to find that particular aroma. And yeah. And we moved eventually to Sydney after we left the convent. And then we went to school there for quite 4 years. And Judy was, she loved to go swimming at Bondi, so the two of us would get on the bus and go to Bondi Beach, and she'd have all the fellows after her, and I used to think, oh, what about me, you know, but I was a bit younger than her, so it never happened. Yeah. Eventually, Judy met and married Judy Piedrahita in England. She wanted to travel the world, so she went to England, and there she met Amanda, her South American Spanish husband, and they had 3 children. And then I married Morris, who started us off this afternoon, and then we had children, and Judy would ring me up and ask me how to do things, breastfeeding and things like that. And yeah, it was funny how she'd ring me up. And then eventually we all came back to Australia, and Judy and Sandra came to live in Melbourne with us for a while. And then Judy bought a house in Blackwood, which was my uncle's house that he built, and he died, and she bought that house and lived there for quite a while, actually. But we'd go and visit her up there, and I'd teach her how to paint, and we'd love to go to the bakeries and have cream cakes. It was our favourite thing to have cream cakes. And she loved doing photography, and I taught her how to paint, so she took up painting as well. And often we'd go out with the cameras and with Morris walking, and we'd look around. Where's Judy? She disappeared. And she'd be way, way, way behind somewhere with the camera taking photos. We'd always laugh about Judy disappearing to get her photos. Yeah. And one other funny story was we had a family holiday on the river, and Judy wanted to have a ride with the rubber floaty thing. She wanted to get in the floaty and just experience going down the river a little bit, but wasn't aware that there was quite a fast current, and the current started to move her down the river, and I looked and I thought, oh my goodness, she's going to end up in Adelaide. And Jonathan looked too, and he with all of his gusto, started running down the side of the river on the rocks and the stones, and and he dived in and grabbed hold of her little rubber thing and pulled her back to where we were. So that was one. She's anything that she loved to do. She'd go, oh, yes. You remember that? Yeah. So I think that's enough for now about those little stories. Okay. And welcome to you all. It's lovely to see you all, and it's a comfort to me that you made the effort to be here today. Thank you very much for coming. And we've got family here, some family here who I've only met once or twice, and I'm very delighted that you've made the effort to come. Thank you.
I'm going to read out some words that David and Sandra put together as a tribute to Judy's life. It's an account of her life and also a testament to the person that she was. Judy was born on August 1st, 1941 in Melbourne, Australia, to Harold Leigh and Betty Bryant. Judy's life was defined by a deep sense of compassion and an instinctive desire to care for others. This became clear at an early age while attending a Catholic boarding school in Mansfield, Victoria, with her younger sister Barbara. Judy spent much of her time looking after the younger children and helping wherever she was needed. After spending her early teens living in Sydney, Judy pursued her calling as a natural caregiver and completed nursing school at the Alfred Hospital in Melbourne. In 1964, Judy travelled by sea to London, England, to pursue her career as a registered nurse. It was not long before she met the love of her life, Judy Piedrahita, a Colombian traveller studying abroad while working as a hospital orderly. They fell in love and continued their journey across the globe in Toronto, Canada, where they were married in 1969. Shortly after their marriage, they moved to Chicago to be close to Armando's beloved sister Pilar and her young family. The two families quickly formed a bond that would last a lifetime. They spent the next decade in Chicago, where their sons David and Edward were born and grew up alongside their much-loved cousins Richard and Diana. In 1980, Armando's career took them to Seattle, Washington, where their daughter Sandra was born in 1984. Heartbreakingly, after a prolonged battle with cancer, Armando passed away in 1989. Judy persevered and continued her work as a nurse at Overlake Hospital while providing unwavering support to her children. She was a pillar of strength during an impossible time. As her sons embarked on adulthood, Judy and Sandra returned to Melbourne in 1994 to be close to Judy's family. Judy had an everlasting and unique bond with her sister Barb, her husband Morris, and their 4 children, Lee, Jonathan, Rebecca and Emma. The families immediately became intertwined, and throughout the extended family, Judy was known as a devoted mother, grandmother, sister, daughter, auntie, cousin, niece and friend to many. In 2003, life took Judy on yet another journey to Blackwood, Victoria, a small town which has been dear to Judy's heart since childhood. When the opportunity arose to move into the house that her Uncle Graham built, she couldn't resist another adventure. Before long, Judy had become a vibrant part of the local community, enthusiastically participating in church activities, choir groups, painting classes and ballroom dancing. Judy stayed in Blackwood until 2016, where she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease and returned to Seattle to be close to her 3 children. She faced a diagnosis with grace, and her joyful spirit remained until the very end. She spent many years happily living in Ballard, Washington, where she loved to walk around the bustling neighbourhood, visit cafes and local shops. Judy loved music and dancing and wasn't afraid to dance in the early hours of the morning. She had a deep appreciation for nature, which she channeled into beautiful paintings and photography. Her strong Christian faith led her to love deeply, find joy in all things, and forgive quickly. She was a shining light in every room she entered. Her natural compassion for others was evident in her nursing and in the deep care she showed for everyone she encountered, from her early years at boarding school to her later days caring for fellow patients in memory care. Judy is an incredible model for how we should care for people in need and spread love generously. Her life was defined by her unrelenting love and support for her family and friends. She will be profoundly missed by her children, David, his wife Nadia, Edward, his wife Marin, and their children Luke and Sydney, Sandra, her husband Adam, and their daughter Zoe. Judy leaves behind her beloved sister and lifelong confidant Barbara Stewart, her husband Morris, and their 4 children and many grandchildren. Judy is also survived by her treasured siblings, Brendan Leigh and Sony Manning. Though she is no longer with us, Judy's love, light and adventurous spirit remains in the hearts of all who knew her. For me personally, Aunt Judy was my second mum. She was the second grandma to my kids. I felt loved like I was one of her own sons. She was the most warm and loving human being to me and everyone around her, and had the biggest heart of anyone I'd ever known. Our lives had been shaped by a tale of two families, closely bonded but always separated by great distances. So memories for me of Aunt Judy formed from the first trip she had over to the UK from America with Dave and Ed. I think I was about 3 or 4 at the time, and Aunt Judy became one of the most significant and special people in my life from that time onwards, and she has been ever since. These trips continued over many years, as I read before, until Auntie Judy moved to Australia with Sandra. We then had the privilege of living day in, day out with Aunt Judy for around 25 years. It was no longer a case of seeing each other years apart, but all the time. Aunt Judy, we were very spoilt to have you in our lives for that period, before you returned to Seattle to be with your children. I'll forever cherish that time, to be able to share and celebrate all of our significant milestones with you. I miss the Sunday nights we'd congregate at Mum and Dad's for dinner. I miss the laughter, I miss the games, I miss the good food, especially your love of dessert and copious amounts of cream. I miss your sense of humour and your misadventures. Mum spoke about floating off down the Murray River on the tyre tube. That trip was also famous for, we're on a houseboat. You've probably seen the houseboats on the Murray River that you can hire, and big 2-storey things with bedrooms and a lounge room and a kitchen. And so you drive the boat around and you'd moor somewhere that you like for a while and spend hours or a day there or a night. Everyone had a go at driving the boat, and then Aunt Judy wanted a turn. We're all a bit hesitant. Anyway, she took the reins, and I think literally within about 30 seconds, we just hit this almighty smash. She hit a tree, smashed a window. Someone was sleeping in one of the rooms at the time. So she's never lived that one down. Yeah. Aunt Judy, you meant the world to me. Your passing leaves such a void, but all those memories, your love and warmth will be with me forever. I'll forever be grateful for having you as my auntie. You hold a very special place in my heart and always will. I love you lots. Rest in peace with God until we meet again. I'm going to read some words from Jonathan, my brother, who can't be here today. He lives in Wales. This is a message to my Auntie Judy. To everyone else, since you're here anyway, I don't mind you listening in. This is just a little note for you as you look down on us from your new home in heaven above. I'm sure it's on a hill with woods behind it and a river at the bottom of the road. It'll have heaps of personality and be very unique. There won't be another house like it. I miss you. But I've missed you for a long time now, as we haven't seen each other for about 10 years, way too long. I won't keep you long, but I just wanted to say a few parting words. You've always been there for my mum, your sister. Likewise, you've been a part of my life since my earliest memories in Crouch End, London. And through every phase of my life, you've been a part of it. In Melbourne, with the Dave and Eddie, and when you came to care for Grandma in her last days. And again, when you moved back with Sandra. You came to visit us wherever we were, in Queensland, in Sydney, and even in London. I wish I could have showed you around Wales too, and I wish my younger 3 kids would have met you. But I have so many great memories, so many moments. Often we were sharing a laugh, contagious, cheeky laugh. Nearly as often, we were sharing special moments over food. It's a common theme. Often naughty food, a shared passion of yours and mine.
I love the way you took Katrina and treated her as much as your niece as your dear friend. We had many an adventure together, sat up many a late night talking, laughing, watching movies, snacking, and even disagreeing on stuff, but there was never any love lost. Family as it's meant to be. Family was probably the most important thing in the world to you. After a difficult childhood, I guess you must have made that choice. And we all felt that warmth and love that you radiated to everyone in your life. Like all the people you love in life, you always wish there was more time. But life is short now, and I have so much to reflect on over the many years I was blessed to have you in my life. More than just the memories, I can also take with me what I learnt from you over the years. I saw you so selflessly care for so many in their time of need, many through to the end. You really, really cared. You were a nurse to the core. You were hospitable and always made people feel welcome and at home with you. Your warm smile was always present, spreading a lightness and joy to others in your presence, and you had a childlike cheekiness that was always fun, sometimes unpredictable, but never dull. You were really brave. In the convent, looking after your little sister, adventuring to a brave new world to start a new life in England as a young adult, moving to Canada, then the States, raising your kids on your own after Uncle Armando died, moving to Australia again, then living out in the sticks of Blackwood in your treasured little home, and then moving back to Seattle so late in life to be nearer to your kids. All these things I can ponder on and reflect in between my tears, as I know that your time here on earth with me and everyone else has drawn to a close. Until we meet again, next time in the presence of our Lord Jesus Christ himself, I will do my best to take the lessons I've learned from you to help me become a better person, to care more completely, to smile more sincerely, to love more deeply, and to live more bravely. I often think of you and Mum in Mansfield as tiny little kids. I wish I could have given you the love and hugs you deserved, as I've been able to do for my kids. In Matthew 18, Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." Now you are in the arms of our Heavenly Father, knowing unconditional love in its fullest form, and that gives me great peace. Well done, Aunt Judy. You have run a good race. Love from Jonathan.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming. I hope I can read this right. I actually do need glasses and I haven't bought them yet. Naughty me. But I wanted to say first something that is coming up about how lucky we were to have someone in our presence who really was an example of trusting life. And I felt like Aunt Judy, she had her ups and downs and her joys and difficulties, but she really embraced it all, like very, oh maybe, oh gosh, I'll look old now. Oh well, yeah, it probably will help though. Thanks, Mum. Yeah, just and to second that she really was like a second mother to us, and we've been very lucky to have our own mother, who's like a queen, has been the most incredible, loving and giving mother that we could have had. We have been very fortunate to have her and Aunt Judy, both really incredible women. Okay. There are so many beautiful, fun and alive memories of Aunt Judy. It's hard for me to pick one. What is so vivid for me is how Aunt Judy loved to talk together on almost any subject and laugh a lot. She had a very extremely cheeky sense of humour. She was always present and available. I always felt that she was like a second mother, giving wise, sensitive and unjudgmental advice about relationships, philosophies of life. We shared many amazing dinners, walks, painting sessions, and what one calls the stuff of life. Aunt Judy was always curious and caring, fun, clever, hilarious, creative, and loving in my memory. She extended her care, humour, and avid interest in life to partners, friends, my brother's sister, parents, and all of our community. Aunt Judy, I love you so much, and I look forward to dancing with you one day in the heavens. I see you there already as a queen.
Well, I do have glasses, so there you go. Sorry, I just need to blow my nose. My beloved Auntie Spoonie, which we used to call her because of her spoonerisms. How I've missed you since you left the shores of this red continent, Australia. How lucky we were to have you here for 20 plus years. So close to us in Ringwood, family dinners, trips to Rudderbugs. That's an in-joke. It was Tucker Bags. That was one of her spoonerisms. She called it Rutterbugs and it just stuck, didn't it? And when you moved to Blackwood, the country trips were always such a joy. I love listening to Debussy with you over chats, a cuppa, and usually something naughty to eat. You filled every room with sparkle. Your giggle was just so infectious, and you were my second mama. I love witnessing you and your sister Barbara Gillian, my mum, a bond so strong and born under such horrendous conditions. Sorry. Didn't expect that. And the two of you always found a way to smile and giggle through it. I so wanted to be there to say goodbye and support the three of my most incredible cousins, Sandra, Dave and Eddie. But I couldn't make it this time. Cousins, I miss you dearly, terribly, and we need to catch up soon. But Auntie Judy, I find peace knowing that you're always coming back home, back to your beloved restful Blackwood. Sorry, that you are coming home because we're going to scatter her ashes there. Where the mornings are always fresh and the currawongs call. I'm forever sad I didn't get to say goodbye, but now I feel that you're everywhere and I can talk to you and feel your presence close as I cry and wave goodbye. To your earthbound self. Now you are free everywhere. I can't even see. Now you are free, you are everywhere. And when I gaze up at the starry night, I can have more chats and giggles with you until we meet again. Rest in your perfect peace, dear Auntie Judy. With love, your Ems.
It's the March of the Cry Brigade, and I'm no different. Thank you all for coming. This is like an offering to this special person. So from our family, we really wanted to pause to give thanks for this special person, but also for her life amongst us in Australia. And there'll be a few more offerings after we sing in a minute, but lay cousins, I'll say it, Barb is happy beyond belief that you're here today. And in a way, we can thank Judy for bringing us together. It's very special. We've enjoyed meeting you. One of them we met for the first time today. And it's great that we can share in this together. As Lee said, this is the story of two families, but it's the story of two women who have bonded these families together, Judy and Barb. So sorry. It's only the people who don't know me know that I'm a bit of a crybaby. Kind of runs deep through the whole family. But we feel her absence as we celebrate her life. And we're so thankful for that. I don't want to add too much more. Obviously, as my sister-in-law, I loved her to bits. She was here amongst us at TLC. She joined in FCS, did it for a whole year. She was part of the Image and the Dream, singing with us. She had a beautiful soprano voice. And it's only when she came here that she was able to celebrate that with others, actually. She loved being part of this community. Is it this one that's causing all the... All right. She loved giving as much as receiving from her life amongst us. She blossomed. She came home to share with family and friends in Australia. And I think all that ambition was met. And we, as Lee said, we're so thankful that we had almost 26 years with her. And Sony, I know especially, and Bran, but Sony particularly, she treasured the times that she spent with you. And we'll never forget that. And that spirit is continuing, not only with you and Barb, but I know my two daughters, especially Em, you've got this sort of connection. So thank you, Judy, for bringing all that into our lives. And we celebrate you and we honor you today as a very special person who came and left her mark, not only on our world, but on us. And I want to tell you today that her three children are joining us across the live stream. So Dave and Sandra and Ed, we hope that you can feel the love and the warmth and the support that your mum had when she was amongst us, not only our family, but this community at TLC as well. And we want to just acknowledge that you're there and look forward to hearing your own words a bit later. Those Sunday dinners were epic, absolutely incredible. And we did it for about almost 20 years we did, which was every Sunday night, which is amazing, really. From the time she came home to, well, I think we had 11 years of it, and then after that, she moved to Blackwood, and we still made it happen. She'd drive down, and we'd share together. Very special times. We're going to sing a couple of songs. We hope we'll sing them well, but if we sing them badly, you'll just have to forgive us. So let's do it, guys. These are two South African freedom songs, and they both reflect the struggle, the anti-apartheid struggle, and they're beautifully layered tunes. The first one is more They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so we got 80,000 words. You want the lights now? said, each picture's 1,000 words, well put together by Dave, with contributions from all of us, Australian photographs from Rhonda and or various ones. We're not done yet, but we're almost there. I'm going to ask Leslie French to come up, and then if she can be followed by Sony Manning and Brendan Lay to share some thoughts. Leslie trained and worked with Judy, I don't know how many years ago, how many decades ago, at the Alfred when they were both nurses there. So Leslie, do come up. Thank you for coming today. Really appreciate it. And Dave, here's the Leslie. You can actually see her in the flesh.
I am so grateful to Dave because he's kept me in touch all through the years. We first met up on Facebook and he's been just so wonderful, and he sent me the video of Judy's service. And so this is my tribute to Judy that I sent to Dave for that service. And it's nowhere near as eloquent as you folks, but so my story is that apart from breaks when we're on night duty, Judy and I were roommates for the entire 3 years we were in general nurse training at the Alfred. And in all that time, I truly cannot remember us ever having a crossword, which is pretty remarkable given my nature. Judy was a born nurse. She was patient, kind and caring to all, patients and friends alike, and you've heard that in so many stories today. She was the embodiment of somebody having a spring in their step. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody have quite that spring in their step as Judy had. I remember her bouncing in our door after returning from days off, always smiling and always happy to be back again. And then it was when we were on holidays together at the end of the first year that I discovered that Judy certainly could dance. We met up with her old friends in Sydney and she rocked and rolled like a star. Looking back, I realised that Judy and I had shared values based on our Christian beliefs. We never spoke about it, but I look back now and realise that. I found nursing very challenging, both physically and emotionally. Judy was my anchor in my low times. And it was only as I've matured that I realised that she held me in love and understanding, and her presence was always uplifting. Judy was one of those rare people who walked through life completely free of ego. And I didn't realise that until I look back. She was always Judy, no matter what the occasion was, whether with our senior nurse staff who often treated us like soldiers on the parade ground, or to our friends. And despite geographical separation, our connection and love never waned. One morning I woke from a dream in which Judy and I were travelling together in a train. And I thought, maybe this means that Armando has died, because I knew that he was seriously ill. And then the phone rang, and nobody ever rings me at 7 in the morning, but this call came through and it was Judy. And yes, she was ringing me to tell me that Armando had made his transition. And I always think of this as amazing proof of our deep connection that transcends time and space. And it continues to support me now that she's moved beyond this earthly realm. And when I was writing this, this quote came up from Sangeeta Rana, and it just seemed appropriate for me to finish on. When you touch someone's soul, they never forget that. They remember that gesture for as long as they live. And Judy truly touched my soul, and I will never forget. Thank you.
Just going to introduce Sony and Bren. Maybe Sony comes first. They share the same father as me and different mothers, so we're kind of half brothers and sisters. Sony, would you like to come first?
Hope I'm tall enough. I don't have glasses today because I don't have anything to read, but yeah, I knew Judy after Barb. I knew Barb for 1 year, and we, you know, it was good, and we shared a room. And then when I was, I think, about 12, that photo in the river was about then, and Judy was about 20, I think. I don't know for sure. But she came to live with us when she was nursing, and it was just so fantastic. I was going through puberty, and I just loved her, just her being fun, and we really did. We had fun, and she was able to, you know, when things were difficult with relationships, you know, she was just great because I really could only talk to her, and she, just someone that was, and she was romantic too, and always was. I remember, you know, late, sort of not that long ago, she told me about a light on the hill, and she was sure that someone was giving her a message from there. But yeah, and she loved music, and so that was very catching to me too. And our dad loved music, and when something terrible happened, like, you know, drying up the dishes, a plate was dropped and it's smashed everywhere. Before Mum could sort of blow up, he launched into a opera aria, and he had a beautiful tenor voice that he suddenly launched into song so often. So good. And yeah, so it was about when I was 14 that she fell in love and wanted to follow him to Europe. And we talked about personal things. It was very sacred to me. And but I was dreading this particular time, but we went to say goodbye to her on the ship, and she was there on the deck, huge, you know, long way away, and we were down there huddled, and streamers were completely joining the whole pier to the ship, and I could read her lips, and of course I was devastated and crying like I was sort of shattered, and I could read her lips. She said, "Poor Soan." And then to my horror, the streamer started breaking, and I could realise that the ship was actually moving out into the black night. It was unforgettable. And she's been with me, but there's been sort of a long period of darkness for a long time. But thank heavens, I found Barb and showed me that, yeah, we're of the same tribe, and that was so special to me. And we've shared a lot since then. And the babies. So it's been so good. So, yeah, she was in my puberty, and that was so, affected me so much. So, thank you, Judy.
Thanks, Tony, for sharing that. Yeah, as Barb said, Sonia and I are from my father's second marriage after the war, so we're the classic baby boomers, I suppose. Our early life was dictated by the fortunes or otherwise of the war years. Yeah, I was really grateful for the opportunity to just share a couple of things from, I guess it's a bit, these things. These things are sorry. These things are personal, and I feel a bit as though, sorry.
Can I sit with you?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess what I feel a bit as though we've missed out on is the closeness of family. I mean, in my case, particularly, perhaps more so than Sony, after I left school, I went to a boarding school here, and then I moved to South Australia. And of course, the tyranny of distance is such that I really didn't keep close tabs of any of my family, my relations, I suppose you might say. And when the opportunity came, often it was not ideal. Like my parents used to arrange these sort of times when we catch up, and they were sort of a bit artificial, because we'd meet at at a city park somewhere, and it's not really quite the same as when you get to know people well. And the opportunity, even just the other day when I was able to stay with Barb and Morris in Hamilton, you can share stuff that you just can't when you have an arrangement like that. But anyway, I suppose what I want to share was some nice things. I mean, Judy was a person who I've never met anyone quite like that before. She seemed to me, sorry, she seemed to be so wholesome, and didn't seem to be any nastiness anywhere there. And so we used to occasionally call in at, particularly at Blackwood, and just see her for a few hours, and that meant a lot more than the few hours would indicate for us. We had 5 kids, we still do, and our only daughter, Kerry, when the times we did catch up, she really had an association or a friendship with Sandra, or Sandy, as you know. Yeah. We've got a Sandy also, but he's a boy. Yeah, and it was lovely that when Sandra was going through a bit of a difficult time, those two seemed to have an association, even though they saw very little of each other, really. Right. And that seemed to transcend all of that, which was lovely. Thanks, Morris. I just had a couple of things to perhaps share about Judy's life. When I went to boarding school, so in Mansfield, in Timbertop, and I can certainly appreciate what you're saying about the coldness. I remember they used to try and toughen us up, but they did have glass in the windows of the boarding house there, and but you knew it got cold at night when you'd have a shower at night, and you put your towel on the end of the bed, and you knew how cold it was the next morning if you could get the towel and hold it straight out because it was frozen. It did get cold there, yeah. The one thing and it was a bit the same theme, I suppose, that I particularly remember about Judy's kids, and this was with Edward, actually. Edward came up I always worked in the outback of South Australia, and he came up, he wanted to come and spend some time with me. I don't think he really realised what he was getting himself into. And we built a sort of an exclosure up, which is like a yard, if you like, up at a place called Weekaroo, which is near Broken Hill. And we camped up there, and he was just amazingly... He was such a nice fellow, but so enthusiastic. Usually you drag someone up there and they say, oh, it's too many flies, or, it was too dry. And we built this yard in record time. It was lovely having him. But I did become aware in that whole process of how intermittent our relationship was, and that applies to you guys as well, really, that when you're living so far away and you've got your own kids to have to cope with and so on, it made the times we did get together more special. And all I'd say is that funerals can be sad, and they are sad as you remember someone, but they can also be an opportunity to have a reunion and a reassociation with people that you don't see very often. I'd hope that we might do that. I see Margaret and John here and think, well, gosh, we haven't really seen much of you guys, and the same applies to his brother. So Busy and I really do appreciate being able to come here and just be part of this. So thanks very much.
We just wanted to give an opportunity for, people have seen me conduct these things before. Is there one word for your participation that you would like to throw out into the atmosphere in honour of Judy? Some special thing, some funny thing. We've already had rutterbugs. You might have some other spoonerism or some other more serious, So, your turn.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love. Great. Just let it go. Yep.
Sing, Judy. Judy, smile.
Smile. Mm-hmm.
Determination, deed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We all still go to rubber bugs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What was that? Colour. Mm-hmm.
And curls.
Well, there might be many other words. They're just ringing. We have Judy's ashes with us, and as we said, we will be spreading them at Blackwood sometime. We'll probably let you know when we're going to do it, and if you want a day out, it's a beautiful place to be. I have some words here from Judy's second son, Ed, who Bren referred to. And as some of you, maybe many of you would know that just over a couple of years ago, Ed had a catastrophic injury and a catastrophic accident and a catastrophic brain injury. His recovery has been remarkable, we would say miraculous, and he's penned these words for you here today. First, I would like to thank everyone for attending this gathering today, and especially for being a supportive friend to my mother and all of our family in so many ways for such a long time. My mother was an extremely devoted family member and friend to many, always willing to provide help to those in need. From other young kids in her life at boarding school to her patients during her career as a nurse. And of course to us, her children, and all her other family and friends who could always count on support and love from Mum when they needed it most. She shared the value and importance of her caregiving focus to all of us. Growing up, I always had her to talk to about the challenges and potential failures that I faced. She had a magical way of discovering when something was not right in our lives. Though through our discussions, I learnt that in my faith, I should realize that there's a great hope and calm available. The history we learned about my mom's life and how through prayer, love, and belief in Christ, she was able to successfully come through things that were enormously challenging. What an incredibly lucky man I am to have grown up under the care and guidance of this great woman. The years during her advancing disease were at times very challenging, but through the help of her family and close friends, she continued to bring an incredible light when she entered the room. If she were here today, she would ask us all to default to actions of kindness, care, and forgiveness. I hope that we will all think about this, especially in the state of the world we currently live in. When in doubt, love and forgive. Although we miss her terribly, we are comforted that she has finally found rest, relief, and the total healing that only Christ can provide, and is finally, after 35 years, reunited with her beloved husband, Armando. Thankfully, Christ also provides healing to all of us during these times of change and extreme pain. As Mom taught us, his eyes will be open and ears attentive to our prayers. We love and miss you, Mom, and always will. And the last word is to Dave, her eldest son.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dave speaking to you from the U.S. here in Seattle. On behalf of my sister Sandra, my brother Ed, and myself, I want to say how deeply moved we are by the outpouring of love and support you've all shown for our mom, Judy. It means the world to us to know that she is being celebrated today by her Australian family and friends at TLC, a place she held so very dear. Though we're not physically with you, our hearts absolutely are. Thank you for honoring her in such a beautiful way, a way I know would mean the world to her. And thank you all for everything you did to be a part of her life and to have invited her into your own. We love each and every one of you and have a wonderful evening celebrating a wonderful person.
Thank you, Dave. He's probably watching. Let's close today with simple ritual of words and song. The most widespreadly known prayer of the Christian tradition, and the most widespreadly known psalm. Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no ill, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I'm going to read some words also from the songwriter Sydney Carter, because it brings together two of her passions, her faith and her love of dancing. It's called Lord of the Dance. Michael Flatley made it famous through the river dance. I danced in the morning when the world was begun, and I danced in the moon and the stars and the sun, and I came down from heaven and I danced on earth. At Bethlehem I had my birth. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. I danced for the scribe and the Pharisee, but they would not dance, like the Baptists say. But they would not dance and they wouldn't follow me. I danced for the fishermen, for James and John, they came with me, and the dance went on. I danced on the Sabbath, and I cured the lame. The holy people said it was a shame. They whipped and they stripped, and they hung me on high, and left me on a cross to die. I danced on a Friday when the sky turned black. It's hard to dance with the devil on your back. They buried my body, and they thought I'd be gone. But I have the dance, and I still go on. They cut me down, and I leapt up high. I am the life that will never, never die. I live in you, if you live in me. I am the Lord of the dance, said he. So, dance then, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. Keep dancing. Keep dancing, Judy. I wrote a little rap some time ago about the resurrection, dead man dancing on Resurrection Day. Yeah, just keep dancing. Just keep dancing. And we'll end by singing another well-known song of the Christian tradition, Amazing Grace. Again, one of Judy's favourites. We can sit and listen to the piano as it plays. We can join in and sing. We can channel Aretha Franklin if we wish, or we can just quietly do it. Let's have a go. Oh, no sound. No. Are we switched on? Oh, you want to stand up? That's good. Amazing grace, how saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Well, Barb's going to come and conclude the whole thing. That's your job. I just want to thank TLC for the use of this space, and to Jeff and Robin for the work they're doing in driving all the tech. And thank you, Ruth, for your contribution on the piano. And thank you for Joe and Mary and Sue and Donna and others who I probably haven't mentioned. We're really grateful to so many people who have contributed to make this happen. And if you have time, we hope you have time, just share some afternoon tea. And thank you for bringing contribution to afternoon tea. Take your plate home after we've emptied it. And I must mention, actually, I was going to mention, apart from the lay cousins, Alan Thatcher and his partner, is it Liz? Yeah, who know Judy very well. Alan is Sandra's father-in-law. He's the grandfather of Judy's daughter's granddaughter, Zoe. And really good. They live in Yea, so they've driven. These guys, Bren and Busy, drove from Adelaide, and Janet flew home from California. That's because her mother and Barb's first cousin passed away last Saturday. She's home for the funeral. How good it is that you could make it to us today. So welcome to you and all the lay cousins.
I just want to thank God for the people who have come today to support us and to comfort us at this time of loss with Judy leaving us. And yeah, just thank you for that love and support. And thank you to people here today for coming and giving that support. Really, really appreciate it, and I'm comforted by that. Thank you.
Thank you. Just join us in the coffee shop for a pint and tea and a coffee and lots of chats. Have a look at the photographs.